Here we go. Monday morning, May something, 21st, we'll call it. May 20th. I think it's May 20th. Yep. Went to a wedding on May 18th. Today's May 20th. This is a walk and talk on Divergence to Convergence. This is the morning walk and talk. I'm out with my dog doing the morning walk. We got two kids this morning. My son's got hives and was sick last night, so he's missing school. My daughter's not feeling great either. We got home 2.5 hours later than we're supposed to last night. Got home at like 1 o'clock in the morning from our train back from BWI. So let's just talk about what needs to happen in logistics in our house and some of the things, some of the tools that we'll use today to start to make stuff happen. Right, and I've got to go to the office and would like to get there for before my 9 o'clock call, but I'll probably take that remotely. I'm going to do a little bit of work from home in the morning. I do my best work from about 7:30 to 8:30, so typically, and I do that from home. So I'm thinking for this morning we'll do the walk and talk for about 15 minutes here, and walk the puppy, get him a bunch of steps in for the morning. Go do an hour processing stuff, get ready, and then head into the office after the commute for the first call this morning. I think that's going to be the play today. But so what do we have to do? My son gets seen by a doctor. We got a couple of different options. We have One Medical, which is now owned by Amazon, and so I can set up a virtual appointment for him. I think he's probably just gonna need a prescription. Set up a virtual appointment for him. We just gotta take some pictures. So I sent the instructions over to my wife because he's still sleeping. We didn't want to wake him up for him to get ready. We'll get the virtual so I can actually manage that from the trip into the office. We don't have to go in and do anything physical. My daughter, I will set up with a physical appointment later on during the week, and hopefully a time that's after school. And then we'll get going on heading into the office and starting to get ready. I've also got to do some sleep management stuff for me personally because I only got 5.5 hours of sleep last night. So we'll actually should be good through the day if we have a high protein day, not a ton of carbs for lunch. So yeah, high protein, low stress day should make it a workable situation. So welcome. If you'd like to come on, please leave a comment, and I'll invite you on. Talking today about divergence versus convergence. So divergence, I looked at here, just random ideas, really what's at the top of the head. You know, there are things that I plan to talk about today. There's plans that I was saying think about, and then life gets in the way. Just saying, you know, sharing before. If you're seeing this, if you're not watching this live, sharing before. It was we got home at 1 o'clock in the morning last night. Our train was supposed to get in at 10 o'clock, and you know, both kids have some sort of ailment that they're actually dealing with that we're working through today. So that kind of takes over. And so that's top of mind, right? That's top of mind. How do we work through that? How do we work through the personal stuff? And then when we get into some of the ideas that we're working with. So my new favorite tool for for divergence, being able to take random thoughts and then turning them actually is Cleft Notes. Do this on a live stream, right, to be able to potentially be able to connect with people early in the morning. But number two, to be able to share out, oh man, dog just ate something, share out ideas that are potentially meaningful and useful. Yeah, to be able to share out things and be able to have conversations with people. But really, so creating one to get the ideas that are rattling around the head, outside the head into a place where they could be useful. That's accidental genius, right? Turning the insanity of ideas spinning inside of the head and then starting to vocalize them externally. What it also does is when we verbalize stuff and put it out there, we get to hear ourselves speak. So we start to create a mastermind effect for ourselves by ourselves. Hey, doing? We get to create a mastermind, and then if somebody else joins, then we get to actually create a mastermind. But the beautiful thing is, on the back end of this, we get a transcript. There's all kinds of amazing things that you could do with transcripts in 2024 to be able to pull out some of the different ideas that work. So if I look at it, we talked about like medical, right? Like how do you solve for small medical issues? How do you solve for small medical issues on a busy day, right? You know, and it used to be like, hey, we gotta book an appointment with one human being specifically, and it was dependent on our schedule converging with their schedule. And now what's available is, so the other one is, could do a virtual visit, which is synchronous at the same time, but have multiple people be able to available, or can do what we're going to actually do today is we're going to send a couple of pictures in. With a couple of different items, and they're going to get back to us they'll get back to us within 4 hours. And so we'll have a decent plan in place, which might be the next step, might be actually going to see somebody physically, right? So we're at a phase where we can get a whole bunch more done than we could ever get done in the past. So we'll get a transcript of this, and the best way to structure information, you can do one of two things. You can structure information as it's aligned with the brain. That's number one, and that's the easiest thing, and that's what this is, right? This is whatever is top of mind for the brain. Or you could structure information, or that's how it used to be in the past. You could structure information that is designed for the end user, and that is better, right? It's better to make something that's consumable for somebody else. But what if you're not clear on what the thing is that you actually want to create, or clear on how that would actually have an impact for somebody else? That's where we start to use tools to be able to create to take our divergent thoughts and then to put them into something that is a little bit more creative. And I just put on, so for Clef Notes, one of the things that we do, which is the best at being able to do some of the summarizations, I use Otter.ai. ChatGPT does it as well, where you can just take, hey, here's a transcript of this item, craft this into a usable note that we can. Craft this into a usable note that we can share out to the world. And so it's like you can go from very divergent thinking into convergent thinking. And I see sometime in the near future where it will be things will start to show up in backlogs, right? And to-do lists. Things will start to show up in CRM, relationship management, right? Like the thoughts that we have start showing up in meaningful places. And I just started, I've never really found a CRM system that I've loved, and I'm starting to fall into deep like with Clay, which I just started using yesterday, which pulls in all of our LinkedIn data and pulls in our text message, which I think is huge because I do so much of my communication on LinkedIn. Just talks about, hey, here's the people that we're in relationship with, and here's here's the reasons. But it was interesting. I started getting interested in learning and rapid learning, and I started thinking about that a lot more over the weekend, which has always been I've always been interested in it, but it's been a when I'm in like a heavy stressful like processing, like heads down, got to get a lot of stuff done, which is what work has been for the last 4 months, right? Like the non-thinking, the non-creation, the taking care of what's in front of us right now, as opposed to planning for the future. You know what I'm saying? Planning for the future, my future, let alone anybody else's future, which it's typically we lose what happened there. All right, we're back. Creating a future for other people. So then when we start getting into our creative space and our creative minds start to flow, then I start thinking about rapid learning. Like, right, how do we go? How do we collapse the time that it takes to go from not having a ton of knowledge about something, creating a model for it, and then being having the facility to be able to make it work. And my hypothesis is being able to talk about stuff. So the model that I like to use for the rapid learning is the From the Art of Impossible, which is 5 books. Consume 5 books to start to become an expert, and then start to connect with some of the experts in the field and start to learn with them. And that can be through conversation, or it can be through consuming some of the stuff that they've worked on. But what's super interesting right now, when we want to put together a mastermind of experts, we actually, especially with the new ChatGPT release, we can actually start to create the mastermind of experts and ask questions of them without actually connecting to the person. Now, is that as good as connecting to the real person? It's not, right? It's not the same thing. It's not close to the same thing. Oh, I won't even say it's close to the same thing, but I would say if we have access to 80% accurate knowledge on some experts, and we start to combine them with each other. It starts to get very interesting very quickly, inside of not necessarily getting the correct answers, but asking the meaningful questions. And the meaningful questions what inspires future work and the stuff that we want to focus on. So right, being able to quickly get to not having any knowledge on a topic, being able to identify who the experts are on that topic, also being able to identify where they are, where they exist, where they sit, um, who knows them, how close we are connected to them, and then being able to have a conversation, to be able to ask questions, and that's where we start down the line of not having any knowledge on a particular topic to actually being in practice on said particular topic, right? And to moving there pretty quickly. And I'll give you an example. There's a book that I wanted to read over the weekend. What I did first is I was just like, I went to ChatGPT. I was like, give me the 20 bullet points, or I like to do chapter by chapter. So like chapter with 3 bullet points is a decent enough outline for a book to be able to understand it. And then I started listening to it last night. I didn't have necessarily time to sit down and read, which is the best way to be able to consume something. And I didn't really have time to do the audio. I was doing a lot of output type stuff, right? I'm not listening to an audio right now as I'm creating this live, but I was able to get the summary, and then I go back and start to listen to it. Then I might go back and start to read it before, right? So we want to do the best we can with the information that is available in us in the that's available to us in the moment, that causes the right mix of output, quality output and quality input. So I'm going to leave that one here for right now. It's 7:13. I'm going to call that quit on that one. Just a brainstorm on. I think we hit some stuff on the convergence versus divergence conversation this morning to be able to start to make it work. And other thing I'll talk about, I guess the last thing I'll talk about, created this weekend I love it, the Ikigai chart. My version, this isn't the standard version, my version of this. Here's what I'm passionate about. Here's what I'm great at, and then here's what the world needs or the market needs, and where can we start to find the convergence of those 3 things, and where do we want to start to optimize, right? Where do we want to start to build out something that is meaningful, like today, or where is something where we just not meaningful today, but where do we want to focus on the passion items more? Where do we want to focus on things? Hey, this is stuff that we're actually really good at, that we've done for a period of time. And then where's the stuff where hey, the market demands this piece of information from us. So I'm going to leave that one here for right now. We'll call it quits on this one. Have an amazing day today. Have an amazing Monday, and we will speak soon.